If you take a fish oil pill every morning because you are hoping it will protect your memory, I want you to hear something important before you take your next one. A new study followed real people for 2 full years to answer one simple question. Does fish oil actually reach the brain? And if it does it actually help the brain? The answer surprised even the researchers who ran the study, and by the end of this video, I think you will understand exactly why. Fish oil is one of the most popular supplements in the country. Americans spend more than $1 billion a year on it, and a large part of that spending is driven by the hope that omega-3 fatty acids can help protect thinking and memory as we get older. That hope makes sense. Omega-3s are essential nutrients, and they do play a real role in building and maintaining the connections between brain cells. The question researchers wanted to answer was simple. If someone takes a fish oil supplement every day for years, does it actually change what happens inside an aging brain? This video is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Let's talk for a moment about what omega-3s actually do. DHA is a type of omega-3 fatty acid, and it is one of the main building blocks your brain uses to form the connections between brain cells that allow you to think, remember, and process information. Your body does not make much DHA on its own. Most of it has to come from food, especially fish, or from a supplement. For a long time, one big unanswered question sat underneath almost every fish oil study. When someone takes a supplement, does the DHA actually make it into the brain in a meaningful way? Or does it get absorbed into the bloodstream and mostly stay there? If a supplement never truly reaches the brain, it is not surprising that it would not help the brain. This new study was designed specifically to close that gap and settle the question once and for all. Let me give you a picture of why this matters to real people. Imagine a woman named Ruth. Ruth is 68 years old. Her mother lived with dementia in her final years, and Ruth has never forgotten what that was like for her family. A few years ago, Ruth started taking a fish oil supplement every single morning. She was not taking it for her heart or her cholesterol. She was taking it because she had heard over and over that omega-3s protect the brain, and she wanted to do everything she could to lower her own risk. Ruth is not alone. Many people in this exact situation have made the same choice, often without ever finding out whether the research actually backs it up. This new study gives Ruth and people like her a real answer. Here is what researchers actually did. A team at the University of Southern California's Keck School of Medicine ran a 2-year, placebo-controlled, double-blinded clinical trial. That is one of the most rigorous ways scientists can test whether something truly works, because neither the participants nor the researchers scoring the results knew who was taking the real supplement and who was taking a placebo. The study included 365 adults between the ages of 55 and 80. These were people who rarely ate fish in their regular diet, and nearly half of them carried a gene called ApoE4, which is the strongest known genetic risk factor for the most common form of late-life Alzheimer's. In other words, this was a group of people who had real reason to care about protecting their brain health, and who were unlikely to already be getting much omega-3 from food. Participants were randomly assigned to take either a daily high-dose DHA supplement or a placebo. Then researchers did something earlier studies had not done as carefully. They measured DHA levels directly in the fluid that surrounds the brain and spinal cord, called cerebrospinal fluid. After 6 months, DHA levels in that fluid had risen by an average of 17% in the group taking the real supplement. Blood tests told a similar story. A standard measure of omega-3 levels in the body roughly doubled over the full 2 years in the supplement group. So here is the first finding, and it matters. The supplement worked exactly as intended in terms of delivery. The DHA reached the brain's environment. This was not a case of a pill simply passing through the body unused. Now here is the second finding, and it is the one that surprised researchers. Despite that successful delivery, it made no meaningful difference in how people's brains actually performed. After 2 years, both groups were given a broad battery of memory and thinking tests. The group taking real DHA improved by an average of about 2 3/4 points on the cognitive scale used. The placebo group improved by almost the exact same amount, a little under 2 2/3 points. That is not a meaningful difference. Researchers also looked directly at brain scans, specifically at the hippocampus, a brain region that is one of the first areas affected in Alzheimer's disease. The rate of shrinkage in that region was essentially the same in both groups. Let's sit with that for a moment, because it is genuinely important to understand why this happened. For years, when fish oil studies showed disappointing results, one common explanation was that the supplement simply was not reaching the brain in a strong enough dose. This study was specifically designed to rule that explanation out, and it succeeded. The DHA did reach the brain, and it still did not translate into a measurable benefit for memory, thinking, or brain volume. This tells us something important about how the body and brain work. Getting a nutrient into an organ is not the same thing as that nutrient producing the effect we hoped for. The brain is an extraordinarily complex organ, and simply raising the level of one nutrient does not automatically reverse or prevent a process as complicated as age-related cognitive decline. It is also worth knowing that this is not an isolated finding. This trial adds to a broader pattern seen across other well-designed omega-3 studies in recent years, most of which have also failed to show a clear cognitive benefit from supplementation. That pattern matters because one study alone is interesting, but a pattern across multiple careful studies is much stronger evidence. I do want to be fair and precise here because this is where a lot of health content gets sloppy. This study does not prove that omega-3s are useless or harmful. It does not prove that eating fish is pointless. It specifically tested a purified, high-dose DHA supplement in people at elevated Alzheimer's risk who rarely ate fish. Whole fish contains many other nutrients beyond DHA, and a lifelong pattern of eating fish as part of an overall diet is a different question than taking a daily pill later in life. What this study does tell us clearly is that popping a fish oil capsule specifically to protect your memory does not appear, based on the best current evidence, to deliver that specific benefit. So what should you actually do with this information? Here are a few grounded, realistic steps. First, if you are taking a prescribed omega-3 supplement for a specific medical reason, such as high triglycerides, do not stop it on your own. That is a completely different use case than what this study looked at, and any change to a prescribed treatment should go through your doctor. Second, if you are taking an over-the-counter fish oil supplement purely in the hope that it will protect your memory, this is a good moment to bring it up at your next doctor's visit. Ask whether it still makes sense for you, given your personal health history. Third, consider where else that attention and effort might do more good. Based on current research, the habits most consistently connected to brain health as we age include staying physically active on a regular basis, managing blood pressure and blood sugar, getting hearing loss properly treated if it exists, maintaining good sleep, staying socially connected, and keeping your mind engaged through learning and meaningful activity. None of these are guarantees, and no single habit prevents Alzheimer's on its own. But together, they represent the strongest, most consistent evidence we currently have for supporting brain health over time. Let's clear up a few misunderstandings that tend to follow a study like this. Myth 1. If a supplement reaches the brain, it must be helping the brain. As we just saw, delivery and benefit are two very different things. Myth 2. This study means fish oil is dangerous. It does not. The finding is an absence of measurable cognitive benefit, not evidence of harm. Myth 3. This proves diet has nothing to do with brain health. It does not prove that. This study tested one specific supplement dose, not a person's overall eating pattern across a lifetime. Myth 4. Natural supplements cannot really be tested with rigorous science. This study is a good example of the opposite. It was a 2-year placebo-controlled, double-blinded trial, which is one of the most careful ways to test any health product, natural or otherwise. If you or someone you love has noticed real changes in memory or thinking, especially changes that are affecting daily life, or that other people have pointed out, that is worth a conversation with a doctor, regardless of what supplements you are or are not taking. Memory changes deserve a proper evaluation, not a guess based on a video or a bottle from the pharmacy shelf. And if you are ever unsure whether a supplement you are taking is right for you, that is exactly the kind of question your doctor or pharmacist is there to help you work through. Let's bring this together into 3 main points. 1. This new 2-year study confirmed that fish oil supplements really do deliver omega-3Cs into the brain's environment. That part worked. 2. Despite that successful delivery, the supplement did not improve memory, thinking, or protect against brain shrinkage compared to a placebo. Reaching the brain is not the same as helping the brain. 3. The habits currently best supported by evidence for brain health as we age are not found in a bottle. They are things like staying active, managing blood pressure and blood sugar, protecting your hearing, sleeping well, and staying socially and mentally engaged. I know how much people in this community want a simple answer for protecting the people they love and for protecting themselves. I wish there were a single pill that could do that. What this research gives us instead is something more honest, and honestly more useful. It clears away one thing that doesn't seem to help, so you can put your time, attention, and money toward the things that actually do. If explanations like this are helpful to you, consider subscribing. We focus on clear, honest health information for older adults and the families who care about them. And if you know someone who takes fish oil hoping it will protect their memory, consider sharing this video with them. It might be exactly the conversation they need to have with their own doctor. Dr. James Carter is a fictional AI-created health educator, not a real doctor.